Colored pencil art is admired for its rich colors, fine details, and ability to create realistic textures. However, achieving depth and vibrancy requires more than just picking the right colors. It demands an understanding of layering and color theory. These two fundamental techniques separate beginner artists from advanced ones, allowing for smooth blends, realistic shading, and visually striking compositions. When I first started using color pencils, I struggled with making my colors look bold and lifelike. My early drawings often looked flat, and I couldn't figure out how other artists created such rich depth. It wasn't until I learned about layering and color theory that made my work start to improve. If you've ever felt frustrated with your coloring, you're not alone. But with practice and the right techniques, layering can transform your art. Unlike paint, color pencils are a dry medium, which means they rely on layering to build up color intensity and depth. Since they do not blend as easily as wet media, artists must carefully apply multiple layers to achieve smooth transitions and realistic textures. One of the most significant benefits of layering is that it allows you to create depth in your art. Instead of applying one thick layer of color, layering involves gradually building up pigment and light strokes, making the drawing appear more three-dimensional. I learned this the hard way when drawing animal fur. At first, I used just one or two colors, expecting it to look realistic, but the results were disappointing. When I learned experimenting with layering different shades, warm browns, soft grays, even hints of blue or purple in the shadows, the more layers I added, the more realistic the fur became. Values, how light or darker color appears, are crucial for making an artwork look realistic. Layering helps artists gradually develop their values without accidentally making an area too dark too soon. A useful technique is burnishing, which involves adding a transparent layer of a different color over existing layers to subtly adjust the tone. For instance, burnishing a light blue over a gray shadow can create a cool-toned effect, making it more dynamic. I once ruined a piece because I applied too much black too early. No matter how much I tried to erase it, the harsh tone stayed. That's when I realized layering lighter colors first, then gradually darkening them, gave me more control over shading. Since color pencils do not naturally blend like paint, layering is essential for achieving smooth gradients. Burnishing is a common technique where you use a light colored pencil, such as a white, cream, or a colorless blender, to press down layers and create a polished look. I used to press too hard on my first layers, thinking it would make the colors bolder, but instead it flattened the tooth of the paper, preventing further layers from sticking. Learning to layer gently using light strokes completely changed my blending technique and gave my drawings a smoother, more refined appearance. Along with layering, a strong grasp of color theory is essential for creating visually appealing artwork. Knowing how colors interact can enhance your drawings, making them more vibrant and harmonious. Complementary colors sit opposite each other on the color wheel, such as blue and orange, red and green, or yellow and purple. Using complementary colors in shading or highlights makes your artwork pop. I once made the mistake of shading with only black and gray, which made my drawings look dull. When I started adding complementary colors instead, like a soft purple in the shadows of a yellow-toned subject, the contrast became much more dynamic. Understanding warm and cool colors helps create mood and depth in the piece. Warm colors, like reds, orange, yellows, tend to bring objects forward, while cool colors, blues, greens, purples, push them back. When drawing animals, I use this technique often, placing warm highlights on areas that catch the light and cooler tones in the shadows. It may not be noticeable at first glance, but these subtle shifts make the drawing feel more alive. One of the biggest challenges in layering is avoiding muddy colors, which happens when too many different hues mix and lose their vibrancy. In one of my earlier drawings, I tried to blend too many colors at once, and the result was a dull, murky tone instead of a bright, vibrant finish. I learned that using a limited color palette and layering gradually rather than rushing the blend helped me avoid this problem. So, mastering layering and color theory takes patience, but it's worth it. The more you practice, the more control you'll have over your artwork, allowing you to create stunning, lifelike images with colored pencils. If you're struggling with layering, start with light strokes and build up color gradually. If color choices feel overwhelming, experiment with a simple color wheel and try complementary color shading. The key is persistence. Every mistake is just another step forward improving. Looking back, I can see how much my art has grown just by refining these techniques. If you keep practicing and experimenting, your work will evolve too. So don't be afraid to push your limits, try new color combinations, and most importantly, enjoy the process.